Hey guys, it's Dr. Kirby here and we're back with another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Swain. Now, this is the fifth time I'm recording this because so many people keep interrupting me. I swear, can I just get it finished? But with that being said, let's get on with this video. So today we are talking about Swain, mainly focusing on Swain support because that's, my specialty, right? But he can go mid lane and top lane as well, Baron lane if you want that word. But yeah, with that being said, let's get on with this video. Usually I take my time, but this is the fourth time I'm recording this, so let's get on with this video. So Swain is a mage, right? But he gains a lot of tankiness later on, to make him such a scary late game champion. So he kind of is Senna Sona in some case because of how he adapts to the game. He can succeed later on in mid game when you're snowballing or something like that, but when in doubt, he can actually scale up to the late game. So yeah. With that being said, let's get on with his abilities. I'm gonna go through this quickly because I've gone through this so many times, so many distractions, I swear. Let's start with his passive. So his passive is called Ravenous Flock. He gains soul fragments that heal him and permanently increases maximum health. Now, you get these from hitting your third skill and second skill, which we'll talk about later. I don't think the first skill counts because I saw it and it didn't mention it. So yeah, that's what basically his ability is. So the more you stack these up and you hit the enemy, the more you became more tanky. So kind of becoming more like a late game uh like boss mage because he has a lot I choked there, has a lot of health. I don't know how much it's gonna give on Wild Rift, but could be just maybe like a Scion thing, like how Scion has a passive with his second skill with minions, but we'll see. But this is a main passive, not an ability passive, so Death's Hand is his first skill. He unleash. Oh, my accent came out. He unleashes several bolts that pierce through enemies. So enemies hit take more damage for each bolt they are struck by. But that being said, is at long range, this ability is kind of just like a poke tool, as you can see here, where that Xin Zhao is. I don't know if you can see that. Where that Xin Zhao is standing up, it kind of does meh damage. But if you're closer, it's gonna do a lot of damage. If you're somewhere between the middle and the near Swain, like close range, it's gonna do a lot of damage there. As you can see, also the mana cost here is 45 to 65 on PC with a cooldown of 7 to 3. So you can use, this is your poke tool in lane when you're not gonna initiate, because Swain is an initiator support. Technically, think of him as like a Morgana, you know. So you want to max this first, but be careful not to poke too much because you could lose mana. I know it's short, less mana, and you do get more mana later on with your build, but better to be safe than sorry, right? So yeah, you max that out first. Second skill is Vision of Empire. This is this is technically kind of like a global ability. Think of it as like a, what's his name? A Twisted Fate ultimate, because look at the range, 5,500 to 7,500. I think the map in the league is around 9,000 to 10,000 on PC. That whole area circumference mats come through, and it's you use this as kind of like a, okay, there's many ways you can use this ability. You can use this as like a combo with your third skill, which we'll talk about later, or you can use it to seek objectives, because at late game you max this second, the range is so huge that you kind of like use it as like a scout tool. Like you can use this on, if you're like at base walking and you see dragon, you can just use it. Are you doing dragon? Also, if enemies are hit, you gain like a stack of soul fragments, and it does decent damage. They get revealed for 1.5 seconds, whoever's hit within the circle, and you gain soul fragments. Yeah, I said that already. And they get slowed for 2.5 seconds. So once again, you can use this as a scout tool or like a combo tool with your third skill. You max this out second because the range is so huge and the damage ramps up a lot. The cooldown is pretty huge, but that's the compensation for how much damage it does. So yeah. So the third skill is Never Move. Now this is what makes English. This is what makes a Swain iconic. So you max this out last because it's just a CC tool with just a 10-second cooldown, so it doesn't scale. In Wild Rift it could be different, so things may vary, but that's how it is here. As you can see in the thing, I'm just gonna summarize this for you. It's like a wave. It's like a excuse me. It's like a Sivir Q. It goes back and then it goes forward. So it goes back, and you can, while this animation happens going forward, you can actually move around and adjust yourself so that it can hit the enemy. Once you're hitting the enemy, you can get a stack of soul fragment as well. when you hit an enemy, you can actually push them back again. As you can see here, Swain can then choose to pull all rooted champions closer. This ability has a shorter cooldown doing his ultimate. We'll talk about the ultimate later. But when that root happens, you can press the ability again. I think it's gonna be like in Wild Rift. You can press the button again and then press the third skill again, and they go back to him. So where does the second skill come up to this? Well, when you look at his combo here, look how delayed the animation for the second skill is. If we can repeat that video, can you repeat the video, please? See, it's very slow and then pops. So my advice is once you see that root, preemptively land your second skill. If you know you can land this root, preemptively land this already, because okay, so for how much seconds is this root? 1.5 seconds. You have 1.5 seconds to hit at 0.1. If you can hit the root and pull them back, you can actually give enough time for it to pop up. See, it says for 1.5 seconds. So yeah, I don't know if that's the wait. Is that the exact like opening? Well, you can just go to practice school and test it out. But that's usually the combo. You third skill and then you second skill and then use your first skill. So yeah. As you can see here, by the way, going back to the first skill, the minions died quick because they all gotten hit close by, meaning like most of the bolts were already hit by them. So, you know, that's a good example. It's a good wave clear tool if you're playing him mid or Baron lane. Okay, now his ultimate. Now this is hard to explain. I'm just gonna read it, I guess. So Swain becomes a demon, dealing magic damage each second. He restores health. Think of this like a Morgana ultimate. You have to be up close to them. His demonic energy depletes over time and can be recharged indefinitely by draining enemy champions, and is fully restored on champion takedowns. Meaning like this demon form, there's that energy around him. He he gains that once again by doing takedowns. Once you at the specific time, he can cast Demon Flare, which is like a pop, you know. Also, this also gives a healing reduction to non-champions, by the way, not champions. Wait, after a few seconds. Okay, so I think after a few time, if there's nothing happening, I guess he loses that energy faster if there's no champions around him. Because usually a good Swain player can keep this ultimate up. You can see that burst, by the way. That's the Demon Flare effect. If a good Swain player knows when to go in, you have to be really ballsy because you want this passive, this demon form passive to keep going, this ultimate. So yeah. He drains health from nearby champions, minions, and neutral monsters. So yeah, this is really you have to really go gonzo deep when playing Swain when you have his ultimate. That's good because you kind of get you're tanky with your passive, so this could be beneficial for you. So yeah. Okay, so those were the abilities. When he comes out, I don't know when, but you can go to practice tool and test them out. These abilities and numbers can change from Wild Rift. Obviously, they've changed a lot. So be mindful of that. I'm just giving you guys the basics, you know, and an understanding. Okay, so let's talk about runes and masteries. Runes and masteries. Yeah, runes and masteries. Runes and summoner spells, not masteries. So you have two builds. They're both all in Wild Rift. Electrocutes in Wild Rift as well. And Conqueror. I'm just gonna go talk about the main keystone. Okay, you can the other runes below that could be, you know, personal choice, personal preference. But I'm just gonna talk about Electrocute and Conqueror because I don't want to waste y'all's time. I already wasted 24 minutes. So Electrocute is more of like a bursty Swain. This is good for mid lane Swain, support Swain, not really top lane Swain because, you know, you need some survivability with Conqueror, which we'll talk about. This is good because his combo can proc Electrocute easily once you hit your never move, and then pop that second skill and then Q, first skill. It will pop Electrocute instantly, making you deal a lot of damage. I think this could reflect with Nanda. I was gonna say I don't know if it's gonna work well with sudden impact, but I digress here. But yeah, that's what this is really good for, you know, bursty Swain if you want to have a bursty Swain. I don't know if you're gonna sacrifice a lot of tankiness, But if you're really good at mages, then pop offices. You can do this in mid lane as well. So the second rune, Conqueror, a key rune. Conqueror is, you all know what Conqueror is. You gain stacks and you gain adaptive force, and you deal more damage and you heal. That kind of is a Swain thing though. Not only are you fighting a lot, but when you reach max stacks, you can actually do more damage. Not do more damage, you can heal back the damage at max stacks. That's why it's so good on like Irelia or something. I don't know if this is the same with Wild Rift. I forgot what Conqueror does. But if it's the same aspect, this is really good for like Swain top, maybe even Swain support if you're trying to fight. But in the case of this, it's kind of risky because you're trying to fight. In the bot lane, you barely fight, you just poke, right? So you're not gonna get the efficiency of your Conqueror by until like late game when you start fighting. So, once again, personal preference, see what you think is great. It's I prefer Electrocute and Conqueror, so it's equal fitting. But yeah, it's all up to you guys there. I'm just giving you guys the idea. Make a mindset in your head of what's gonna happen. Okay, summoner spells. Obviously, you can take ignite, flash ignite, or flash exhaust. Exhaust is good if you want to catch someone off guard, and then you can root them easily with that, so that you're never move, never miss. So yeah, exhaust is good. Ignite is good for more kill potential, and yeah, as you can see here, you max your Q, your first skill, your second skill, and your third skill. You start level 1 with your third skill because you want to start being an annoyance, so that's why it's there. Just make attempts with throwing out your never move and see if you can actually hit it. So yeah, that's why they said get that at level 1, your never move. So now we're gonna talk about items. Woo woo. As you can see here, it's kind of similar to what I'm gonna talk about on Wild Rift, but we're gonna go to Wild Rift Fire builds here, and we're gonna use who can we use? We can use Karma as an example. So let's start with your support item first, okay? Your support item is obviously Relic, duh, because Sickle is meh. We all know that. I don't know if it's gonna change by Swain when Swain comes out, but as of this recording, as of May 6th, let it be, okay? There's that, and then your boots could be this. If you're against a lot of, it could vary. It could be your CDR boots. You can be this, or it could be Merc Treads if you're against a lot of CC. Merc Tread is actually a good idea if you're against a lot of CC that's going to cancel you out from getting that drain from your demon form, your demonic ascension. So make note of that, okay? So you don't get like kited or something. So those 3 boots. Or you want something interesting, you can get the, what was that? Gluttonous boots. Those are good as well because we don't have that on PC, but it gives him probably more healing. If you have Conqueror on Swain and you have like max stacks, I think you can actually get a lot of Omnivamp from that. So remember, Omnivamp heals from abilities and attacks. So you'd be surprised. It heals off of everything. So try to make note of that. I think that's powerful when you're in alt form, but other than that, it's not going to give you anything else stats wise, like resistances, like armor, MR, CDR. It's not going to give you those 3. So yeah. Okay, now let's talk about builds. We're going to go to Wild Rift Fire for here. We'll use Carmen example. So what do we want in our Swain? Actually, you can actually use this weakness rune on Swain. It's actually nice. Anyway, so what do we want on Swain, right? Ooh, not the ad. We want, I think we're going to build him like my Sona build. If you guys don't know, I built Sona with Rod and then, whatever her support item is. But if you're talking about core, aside from your support item, maybe, and considering you have limited items, you should start with, excuse me. Try building Rod first. It's a little expensive, but you can trust me on that. If you scale well, you're going to thank me because it scales so well into the late game. It gives you so much stats, so much health, which benefits from his soul fragments and also the mana, which you're going to need if you're going to poke a lot. You're going to get the Crystal of Aeons first, the purple crystal, the component, and then build your AP and then complete the item. That's your first core. So yeah. And obviously, your second is Leandries. It benefits. We're not going to get Ludens because it doesn't give the tanky stats that we need. We're going to build Leandries after because of the ultimate form, the demon form, and even maybe some of his abilities, his first skill and his second skill, will benefit from that burn that you deal with enemies. So yeah, that's a must. Okay. Once again, your boots could be whatever. It could be Lucidity, Gluttonous, Plated Steel Caps, or Merc Treads. Okay. So we got first item Rod here and second item Leandries. Now what could be your last 2? Now your third item could be, I think this is your core. Actually, these three items are your core. So we're gonna talk about Rift Maker next. Now okay, let's go to Gwen for this one. Rift Maker is I've had all my pentacles have been on Gwen, and if you're not gonna build Conqueror, might as well build Rift Maker. It gives you the Omnivamp, and you do a lot of damage when you max the stack. And like I said, the Omnivamp, you can actually I think these will stack. Yeah, I think this will stack. So 18 plus 15 is 23. So you got 23 Omnivamp, and that's beneficial for Swain because he won't be dead because he has so much health, and then he gains back the life whenever he's near enemies, you know? So that's a good idea. So it's basically like a Gwen build. So so yeah, make sure. So we got what do we got? So we got Rod of Ages. I'm just gonna imagine it's here. Rod of Ages, your support item, Leandries, Rift. Your last item could be situational. You want anything actually, but if you want more damage, we can go with a Rabadon set cap. It's a good finisher for your support items. If the game goes on for long, you can build that, or maybe something cheaper. You know, maybe like a Mandate. Mandate's actually fun because you have your third skill as the proc for the Mandate, and your second skill as well, if it lands, obviously. So, you know, situational. But if you want something cheap, find something cheap. If you have the money, get Rabadons. If you not, get Void Staff. It does the job. You save 500 gold, you know, T. But if you want that maximum damage, get Rabadons because the AP on it is a lot. Okay. Lastly, I forgot to mention this. Your enchant. Well, as you can see from the... Oh, you can build Rylai's as well, actually. Yeah, you can build Rylai's as your last item. So you can do Rod, Leandries, Rift, Rylai's. Young. That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad. That's actually nice. Girl, get that item. It benefits with him a lot. So, T. Okay, so I forgot to mention the boot enchant. Your boot enchant, considering it says here on PC. Oh, not that. You can get Zanya's Hourglass enchant, obviously. So yeah, because it's kind of like in the Morgana situation where you're kind of gonna be like balls deep. So you're gonna have to be careful when you're gonna be initiating, and you need to proc that Zanya's after when you know, so you can survive basically. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was the quick rundown on Swain. He is, I don't know how is he gonna be balanced, but he is gonna be strong, even if he's weak. You know, because if you love playing the champion, then it can work out well. So yeah, that was the build video. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. If you guys want to get educated with more Swain, watch videos of him on PC, so that you guys can have a grasp of how he is managed and how is he in situations, I guess, so that you guys can practice. So when he's not banned anymore on release, you can play him and pop off sis. So yeah, that was the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Ooh, it's less than 20 minutes. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure you guys subscribe. I am a VTuber who does variety content, and make sure you guys join my Discord, link description below. Make sure you guys, what's that word? Make sure you donate to my PayPal/coffee. Again, link is in the description below. All my links in the description below. You follow me on Twitter. I barely use Twitter, but you know, I lurk around. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I forgot to mention, this isn't edited again. I kind of like this style. It's kind of like a personal, raw, lazy to edit vibe, you know. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you guys have any questions or any video ideas videos you want me to talk about, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to make it. So bye bye.